What is up, guys, and welcome back to another career mode episode. This is episode number 47 for the Vietnam Grand Prix. The Grand Prix which we have never seen in real life before. We are back for our third iteration of this race, and we're going to see if we can take the fight to our teammate Sebastian Vettel, who has been absolutely running away with this championship. I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a little bit scared, but all the winning that Seb has done has sparked a lot of talk in the media. Apparently some team called Aston Martin has signed him for next season. I want to come out and say right now that this is fake news. Seb is not going anywhere. I have got him on a 2-year retainer. So Aston Martin, Racing Point, please delete your social media posts. I've addressed you on Twitter, so please respond or you'll be hearing from my lawyers. That said, let's get into today's episode of Career Mode, where we're going to do some upgrades. I think that's a ERS upgrade going in the way of our car, and also a tyre wear upgrade. So hopefully that'll go on in time for this race. That's one that's already failed. That's reliability.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Check your R&D screen to order any redevelopments.
That's depressing. But thankfully, it's only durability, and we can address that maybe now. We got 700 resource points. That is for the MGUH. And yeah, we may as well go for it. That'll go on in time for the Chinese Grand Prix next episode, which I am targeting maybe even a win. We tend to go really well there. Hopefully, we can stem the flow of momentum going towards my teammate Sebastian Vettel. Maybe he'll be distracted by all the stuff in the media. But knowing Seb, he doesn't go on the internet or media sites or anything like that, so he probably doesn't even know. Anyway, here we are for this race, heading into this. We did do an upgrade to the tyre wear, and we also did an ERS upgrade, which shows that minor uptake in performance. Looks like Mercedes have followed us as well with an upgrade or two going their way too, so let's see if we can maintain some ascendancy in this championship. Tyre wear is something that we desperately needed to do. That's something I feel like we've been lacking a little bit lately. And Hanoi is a circuit which is pretty hard on tyres. We really suffered a lot in Season 1 around here as we completely stuff up our track acclimatization lap. And still get a purple anyway, despite going up the escape road. So, yeah, thankfully those gates are based on not lap time, or the time taken to go between the two gates, but it's actually based on how fast you go through the gates themselves. So that was a bit lucky on our front. We top out practice 1 with a race run on the medium compounded tyre, so confidence is high. Looks like we're pretty pacey around here. The fact that we haven't been here too many times could mean that, I don't know, we could have an advantage over our competitors. I mean, I did 100% race around here. I feel like I've got a lot of miles around here, and I've loaded a really good time trial setup, so I am hoping to really take the fight to my teammate Sebastian and win this weekend. Yo, JD here, Tiro Limitless, and welcome to qualifying. You know you're upset for a good weekend if you've got JD on your team, the master of F1 2020 league racing. This is a league, just the most important league of all time in world motorsport. That's fine. Qualifying 1 and qualifying 2, well, qualifying 1 was a bit more sketchy for us. I got P7, Vettel was down the order a bit, but thankfully we cleaned it up for Q2, and now we head into qualifying 3, and we're going to see if we can take the fight to our teammate. Again, it seems like he's got a few tenths in his pocket relative to us as we head into our first lap of the session. But thankfully, this weekend has been a good one for us. We were able to get into Q3 by only using one set of tyre each session. So I only did one run in Q1, one run in Q2, and thankfully my Q2 run was a lot better, gave me a lot of confidence. And now for Q3, because we get the extra set of tyres from the FIA for making it into this session, we have 2 sets of softs to use for this session. Vettel with a 1:31.1. Let's see if we can get anywhere close to that. It's a 1:31.2. So only 1/10 away from Sebastian Vettel. I did a 31.0 in Q2. so I can actually out-qualify him. Charles Leclerc with a beastly lap, 31.0, and I think Lewis Hamilton looking pretty good in the 1 minute 30s. So let's see if we can get anywhere close to that as we head on for our final lap of qualifying. And we're going to ride on board for the entirety of this one. You can see a really nice Sector 1. If you can get through there cleanly, that's actually my Achilles heel. That's really long swooping right-hander on pit lane exit. Thankfully got the line right through there. You can cut that chicane quite a bit on entry and on exit. So that is absolutely lovely. 2.5 tenths up as we round the roundabout and onto what feels like probably the longest straights in world motorsport. Hot lap engaged, max fuel mixture, and we are up into DRS mode. I wonder what's going to happen with next year's F1 game, whether they're going to take away the engine modes, because now in real life F1 everyone runs, I don't know, rich or standard. I don't know what the equivalent is, but that'll be a shame to have that taken away from us. But anyway, we run into the third sector now, and this is where you've got blind chicanes left, right, and center. 3 tenths up as we approach this part of the track. Swinging in left. It's all about focusing on your exits and planning ahead for the next corner coming up, because you've got to get left, then back over to the right, and then swing right to go left into the final couple of corners. Bit of a lock up on the inside front tyre. Third gear, fourth, fifth, up to the line. Very understeery through there, but thankfully we got a Season 3 career mode car, and that is a really good lap. It's pole position for the Vietnam Grand Prix. So we have got the maximum out of this session.
Before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Day, Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
That is absolutely unbelievable. We only beat Hamilton by 100th of a second. That's literally nothing over the course of 90 seconds around this Vietnam Grand Prix circuit. That is incredible. Seb will be disappointed not to be on the front row. Hamilton P2. Life is looking pretty good. And that lap really just came out of nowhere. I guess I nailed it in Q3 when the track was at its best. I mean, I didn't overly nail my Q1 and Q2 laps. Certainly didn't nail the first lap in Q3. But, wow, that was awfully satisfying to pull that lap out of the bag and now find myself in the box seat to win the Vietnam Grand Prix. Let's see if we can do it. Heading into the race, it looks like we have a bit of cloud cover, no rain to interfere. Thankfully, that is not going to interrupt our run, because I'm running with a dry qualifying time trial setup, which might not be good on its tyres, but hopefully this extra pace can keep us at the front.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Day. That was a great podium in the last race. So can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Yeah, guys, we've stuck it on pole, but let's aim for P9 or P10 if we can. If we could, you know, I'd be absolutely ecstatic with that, and I'm sure Jeff would be spraying all of the champagne in the nightclubs tonight if we could get that top 10. So, here we are for the Vietnam Grand Prix. Looks like one stop is faster at this stage. But switching to a 2-stop, it's only 1/10 slower than using hards for the rest of the race. And I think I am going to go for the 2-stop and go for a fast lap at the end of the race. It makes sense. Only 1/10 slower, surely 1/10 wouldn't cost us a race victory. And getting the extra point at the end of the season could prove vital, as Seb has a lot of points against his name so far in this championship. He's taken all 52 points, the maximum fastest lap in each race, and winning each race so far we've seen. So I need some of that gravy to flow my way if we can. As we get ready to start this race, the Vietnam Grand Prix is underway, and it's been an okay start. But second phase, as always, Hamilton leaves us for dead and takes the lead of the Grand Prix into turn 1. So we're going to see if we can consolidate this start, follow Hamilton through this really long and understeery right-hander. This will only get worse as we get into the Grand Prix. Worn tyres, worn front tyres through there, and even overheating tyres is a nightmare at that first section of the lap. But it's been an okay start. We haven't lost our front wing. We haven't crashed out of the race or anything like that. We've only lost one spot. Hamilton's just up the road, so we're going to slipstream him back as we exit this really long, winding roundabout. And he's actually put a bit of gap between us. It's 8 tenths and climbing. We're in overtake and rich fuel mixture ourselves. So that says that the Mercedes is actually faster than us in a straight line. We're fast forwarding towards the end of the lap, and you can see how much of a gap Hamilton is pulling on us on this opening lap. It's incredible. Maybe he's using overtake throughout the whole lap, or most of it, as well as rich fuel mixture. We run out of deployment out of the final corner, and that is the first lap done and dusted in this Vietnam Grand Prix. We do not have the pace, the same pace that Lewis Hamilton has on the soft compounder tyre. I'm running with an aggressive time trial setup, which should be good when the tyres are fresh. But Hamilton is just a monster at the start of this race. I've got no answer, and my tyres haven't even gone off yet, so I can't explain this lack of pace at this stage. I mean, I feel like I'm driving really well. I've gapped Vettel and those behind. It's just a case of Hamilton. I don't know what upgrade of Mercedes put on that car, because they're just untouchable in this race, as Ricciardo now gets in front of Vettel. So this is a weird race that's unfolding. Vettel absolutely dominating the first 2 Grand Prix of the season, and now Marduk Motorsport are getting overtaken by Renaults. What do I say about that? Vettel fights back on lap 3. DRS has now been enabled, and now this is going to get a bit silly between Ricciardo and Vettel, former teammates at Red Bull all those years ago. 6 years ago now. Felt like it was kind of only yesterday, but 2014 was a long time ago now. As you can see, Vettel and Ricciardo fighting side by side. Who's going to get the DRS here? I think it is Ricciardo, but we're not going to find out, because we're going to cut away to Carlos Sainz, who gets DRS on both. Neither of them got DRS, so Carlos Sainz is going to be the big beneficiary. He goes up the middle of both of them. It's 3 wide at the hairpin, and Carlos Sainz could find himself in P2 in a Grand Prix once again. It looks like he's going to have the inside heading into the 3rd sector, and Carlos Sainz is looking absolutely phenomenal here. I'm in P2, sorry, so Carlos can't get P2 unless he catches up to me. But Ricciardo holds on, Sainz drops to P4, and Vettel is going backwards in this race in P5. What a Vietnam Grand Prix we've got so far, and it's only lap 4. We've got 24 to go, and it looks like we're starting to stabilize the gap between ourselves and Lewis Hamilton in this race. Let's hope that the tyre wear upgrades can come in clutch for us, and we can make some inroads towards him at the back end of the Grand Prix. One saving grace for us is when we make our pit stop, I'm going to have to hope that Hamilton, rejoins in some traffic or something like that. That is an element of battling and opportunity that can invite us back into the fray. I believe that was something that saved us a little bit in the first 2 Grand Prix of the season, so let's see if that can aid us once again. Vettel staying out the extra lap, Hamilton onto the medium compound of tyre. We are also going to go onto the medium compound of tyre, so that means that Hamilton is doing a 2-stop in this race, and in we go. Mediums on, softs off, and we're going to finish the race on soft compound tyres if we can. No indication of the safety car coming out. Reliability is really good at this point in the season, and it's been a while since I've seen the safety car. I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty long. As you can see, I ran wide at the exit of the pit lane, and that was probably a corner cutting warning for us there, but we're going to press on. We've still got 2 more to utilize before we have a penalty heading our way. But now you can see Hamilton is caught up in that traffic. That is Hubert and Lando Norris that he's catching up to in the 3rd sector, and that is going to slow him down so much, because they're on soft compound tyres, and the softs felt absolutely horrible at the back end of that stint. I was just suffering with so much understeer, but it's so nice to have some fresh tyres on again. And again, Hamilton can't get past Hubert, but he will on this back straight as he exits the roundabout, and he's going to put it up in a rich and overtake, I would imagine, and he's going to soar past that Ferrari. There's no point focusing on that battle. He did so, and we focus on us catching up to the Ferrari as we exit the hairpin. Not a good exit for us, speaking of, and Sainz is right behind on the soft compounder tyre. So it looks like a lot of people are utilizing the 2-stop strategy in this race. Maybe That's just not an option for some of our rival teams. Maybe they don't have as many tyre upgrades on or applied as what we do. As you can see, Sainz having a little go at us here. He tries to go around the outside into the hairpin. And we're going to get the measure of him under brakes. Thank you very much, engineers, for making that brake upgrade for us not too long ago. And that allows us to hold on to P5 in this race. You can see I unintentionally blocked off Sainz. I was just following the natural flow of the racing line, I suppose. And Sainz had to back out of it there. And even with that loss of momentum, he came back at us and nearly overtook us again into the braking zone. But there we go. Nicholas Latifi is out of the Grand Prix at lap 12. He's all the way back at the roundabout. And there is no safety car. Once again, I don't know what we have to do to drag out a safety car in this game. It's pretty ridiculous. The lack of safety car and the lack of, I guess, driver transfers is rather annoying, but we just have to live with it. As we can see, we get up the inside of Lance Stroll, who was holding up Hamilton. Yellow flag as Latifi is stranded off to the side of the circuit. Where is the safety car? The stewards, the marshals need to be able to recover that car without fearing for their lives. But we can see we're in overtake, rich fuel mixture in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton. Can we go for a move that'll move us into the lead of this Vietnam Grand Prix? We go full send at the hairpin, but unfortunately we run in too deep, and that allows Hamilton... No, it doesn't allow Hamilton to get through. He gets overtaken by Stroll. So, let's have a look at this. Big dive bomb from us. Locked up the inside front, went in a bit deep. Hamilton left the space, and then kind of turned a little bit. Well, he didn't get a great exit, but then he, like... Oh, no, okay, that's fine. That is fine. That's kind of my fault, and I think we're going to have to let Hamilton go back through. So, the next time Hamilton gets a run at us, as Stroll pits, the next time Hamilton comes at us, I'm going to turn down the engine or something and just kind of readdress that situation if we can. So we're down in medium, down in standard. I'm not defending this, and we're going to let Hamilton go around the outside into the hairpin. He gets his lead back, and then we pretty much have a replica of what happened last lap, but this time Hamilton holds on. Is that okay? Is that fair? I don't know. It's getting a bit messy now. As you can see, Hamilton now gets us up the inside into the roundabout, and I guess all is well again in the world of Formula One. Hamilton, #blessed, is leading this race once again. And is there space? It's just enough space to squeeze through there on exit of the roundabout. And now here comes Carlos Sainz on fire like a spicy pepper in this Vietnam Grand Prix. Sainz backs out of it, and then that gives us the golden run on both of them, and we storm into the lead of the Grand Prix. So, just for reference, I had a bit of momentum. Not as much as Sainz, but because Sainz backed out, I already had momentum on Hamilton, and that was a very messy situation. 3 wide down here, and the track is not very wide. Here's the replay, as Vettel actually got up the inside of Hamilton and then Sainz, but then Sainz, with the more natural racing line, was able to get the better flow, better exit, and hold on to P2 in this race. What is this Vietnam Grand Prix? This is turning into, by far, the best race of the season so far, as we cut away to some loading screens. No, my game did not crash. I actually ran out of time because I filmed this video. When did I film this? I filmed this on like Monday or Tuesday. Then I had to go away to London for 2 days. I just ran out of time, so I had to restart this race, or continue on from where I left off, because I did a mid-session save today, and this is my first laps on the game in 3 days. So I thought that was worth showcasing, because now my flow and rhythm is not going to be the same as what it was 3 days ago. I didn't do any practice, and we're straight into the race once more. So let's see if we can hold on from that untimely intermission and win this race once more. Well, not once more, but, you know, maintain the lead as we were on the pace. Anyway, battling away is Carlos Sainz, and so too Lewis Hamilton, who soars around the outside of both Vettel and Sainz, and it looks like Hamilton is going to move up into P2, so it's a very dynamic battle that's unfolding at this stage. Vettel boxes early. He was on the soft compound tyres, and he's going to finish the race on mediums, you would have to assume. And we need to come in for our final stop of the race on lap 20, I believe, is our scheduled pit stop. And we're going to go to softs to the end of the race. So unfortunately for us, we don't have any fresh sets of soft compound tyres to utilise. for the back end of this race. We're going to have to use a slightly used set that we had in qualifying. So we'll see how that unfolds for us. We do a personal best as we head on to lap 20. Lewis Hamilton is in the pit lane, and that was an early one. I was not expecting that. I thought Hamilton was going to come in on the same lap as us, and so with that undercut, I need to push extra hard to make sure that Hamilton doesn't get us by the time we make our stop. So into Rich and overtake. I'm just checking the status of Bottas because he's only 11 seconds behind and on medium tyres. I was a little bit worried that he was somehow in P1 effectively, but thankfully he needs to make another stop in this race, so we don't need to worry about him. Who we do need to worry about is Verstappen and Albon. The two Red Bulls are doing a one stop on the hards to the end of the race. Vettel, finishing on the mediums, is going to be trying to chase down the two Red Bulls to win this race, and then behind Vettel is Hamilton on the softs. So this is probably the biggest and highest stakes game of cat and mouse you will get in World Motorsport. We've got the two Red Bulls who don't have the pace on the hard compounded tyres trying to hold on, with Hamilton and Vettel chasing them down, and I'm trying to chase them down on the freshest tyres in this race. Does that all make sense? I hope it does. We've got 7 to go, and this is the state of play. Hamilton catching up to Vettel, who is catching up to Albon, and it looks like Hamilton is going to get the measure of both of them and storms up into P2 in this Vietnam Grand Prix. We're following very swiftly behind. We need to get in front of our teammate and Albon in order to have a go at Hamilton. Hamilton is the man with all the pace on the soft compound tyres, and now he's going to have a clear run at Max Verstappen, who is right there, only a few seconds up the road. So, stressed. I'm highly stressed. I thought I was going to win this Grand Prix, but now, with Hamilton's undercut, he is throwing himself right into contention. However, he's got one lap older tyres, so let's see how that all shakes up. Actually, it might be a case that Hamilton has maybe newer tyres than what I do, because I use mine in qualifying. Let's hope that Hamilton is on used tyres as well, as we're in the slipstream of Albon, round the outside into the chicane before the roundabouts, and we are now on the podium. There's Hamilton right on the back of Max Verstappen. We fast forward to the back straight, and Hamilton pulls to the inside to get the DRS. It will open about now, and there he goes into P1 in this Vietnam Grand Prix. We've got 6 to go. Hamilton is now running in clear air, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous because Hamilton caught Verstappen at the perfect moment. He caught him right as he was going to get DRS, and now I'm catching Verstappen at an untimely part of the circuit. This is where I caught Vettel last lap, and I had to dive bomb him into turn 1. I'm going to have to do the same to Verstappen and have to catch Hamilton naturally as we go up the inside. Maybe, definitely far too late under brakes. We overshoot the corner, and Verstappen gets through for P2 once again, and that's just thrown away about a second to Lewis Hamilton, who's 3 seconds up the road now. So let's see if we can get Verstappen now. DRS is open, and he's going to go defensive just like Albon did, and we're going to move up into P2. Unfortunate. That's we just caught these guys at the wrong part of the circuit, because now we're going to give the slipstream and so to Verstappen. He actually is of second back, so that's not a concern, but we had to do that massively long back straight without DRS, whereas Hamilton seemed to overtake everyone at that straight and got relatively lucky there. And as we fast forward to the end of the lap in clear air, this is my first go at Hamilton, and Hamilton still pulled out a second on us. So that is, half a second. So that kind of confirms to me that this Vietnam Grand Prix will probably not go in our favour. Gap now on lap 26 is 6 seconds. So Hamilton has just been absolutely phenomenal on the soft compound tyres. He was really fast at the start of the race, and on this tyre again, it's no fluke. He's fast again as we clip the wall there on the right-hand side. Let's have a replay of this. You can see we're trying to push the limits, trying to catch up to Hamilton, and we just about got away with that. Thankfully, it doesn't deviate the car too much into a barrier or anything. But that was the Grand Prix. A race which we were in control at the midpoint when Hamilton caught up to traffic. We got up into the lead of the race, and Mercedes just one-upped us. They did us in the pit stops 1 lap earlier. Hamilton might have had fresher tyres or a fresh set of softs to utilize at the end of this race, and we only had a U set of softs. I think in hindsight, maybe I should have gone for mediums and boxed around the same point as Vettel and got the undercut and just defended from Hamilton, but Hamilton's pace has been absolutely phenomenal today. It might have been impossible to win it anyway. Across the line, P2, 18 points.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So there we go. Hamilton wins the Vietnam Grand Prix. I had all my focus on beating my teammate heading into this race, given his domination of the first two races of the season. You know, I went really aggressive with the setup, time trial setup. It got me on pole, marginally over Lewis Hamilton. We didn't start very well, but we recovered once Hamilton emerged in traffic, overtook him, and then he got the undercut on us, and the rest was history. Just couldn't have seen that coming. Could not have seen that coming. And Vettel, we got the measure on him. We were faster than our teammate, the guy who has been on form in the first two races of the season. But unfortunately, the last person I expected to come through and beat me was Hamilton. So there we go. It's a case of one step forward, one step backwards. We do gain 3 points on Vettel in the standings. Speaking of, here they are now. We lose P2 with Hamilton's win. He moves up into P2. Only 13 points behind Vettel. We're 19, adrift from our teammate. So we got some work to do. But at least we were able to get the measure of him. I was, well, not starting to think, but I was, if this continued, this streak for Vettel, you know, it looked like he was going to be unbeatable. But thankfully, we have proven that he is human after all. And we can beat him on our day. But unfortunately, our day was not as good as Lewis Hamilton's day. But good consistency from the team. Marduk Motorsport maintaining the lead of the constructors, which is absolutely phenomenal. It looks like we're on target maybe to defend our constructors title, which we won last season in Season 2. So let's see if we can continue that trend. Unfortunately, not getting the maximum of constructors points, but that is absolutely fine. And that is today's episode of Career Mode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Apologies about the lengthy break between episodes recently. I've been tied up with a lot of commitments, and now I can talk about it with. I've been doing the V10 R League commentary with Nicholas Hamilton, going down into London for 1 or 2 days at a time, really long days, 10 to 12 hour days. And when I do that, that pretty much writes off a couple of days, and then maybe 1 or 2 extra as well, as I have to get ahead for content. And as such, it's just been really hard to get ahead for career mode videos. Career mode videos take the longest to make, 3 hours or so to record a video, and then you've got to edit it and then commentate afterwards and then upload. In the end, it just about takes all day to make one video, so it's very tough. But thank you guys who have been patient, and it is nice to see all the people who are still really wanting to see career mode and what have you. I do appreciate that support. But hopefully after next week, things will be a little bit better. I've got 2 more days in London to film, Monday, Tuesday, and then after that I can get back on the career mode grind a little bit more. That's why you've been seeing some different videos, like I said, a Corsa and stuff, because those videos are quicker to make and I was able to get those ahead and actually give you content instead of not having an upload at all. Anyway, I've been waffling so much. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we're going to see if we can fight back towards our teammates Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton at the top of the drivers' standings. This is set to be another good season of career mode, and I can't wait to see how this one unfolds. Until the next one, the Chinese Grand Prix. I'll see you next time.